What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the Gramercy Theater, and today we are here with Wind Rose. Thank you, Claudio, for being here. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It's a really great pleasure to be finally here in New York to close this tour, this awesome tour with the band,
Yeah.
The biggest city of the whole tour. And we are closing the tour here. It's awesome to be here.
And nobody brings it like this city. And I got to tell you, it's very exciting to finally have you here because Winter Saga was one of my personal favorite albums of 2019. But then we got the kick-ass follow-up behind it with Warfront. Was conceptually this sort of just picking up where you left off after Winter Saga, or was this meant to be like new territory for Wind Rose in a way?
I think it will be considered as a new territory because Winter Saga was an album we wrote in a moment when we were touring a lot. So I mean, we were into having fun. We saw people having fun. We wanted to have some party anthems, So Winter Saga was, yes, of course, a serious album, but it had a lot of party anthems.
Yeah.
So and in Warfront, we did something a bit different because we wrote the album all in quarantine because of the COVID thing. So we were like not even meeting each other to write music. We were doing that on Zoom,
Wow.
Yeah, so Warfront is a bit more serious and a bit more dark, if I can say that. I mean, of course, there are anthems, but it's a bit more dark.
It's funny you mention that because that was my analysis of Warfront in a way. Because when I listen to a track like Army of Stone, I mean, the way you kick into that after the intro, but then, like when you end with like Tomorrow Has Come or something like that, there is like a real sort of like cinematic anthem aspect behind it. And then when you get to a track like I Am the Mountain, which I think is one of my personal favorite songs.
Oh, nice.
Like that is, and I hope you're playing that tonight.
Nice, thank you very much.
But like that, it seems like there's a real anthem element behind it. And that led me perfectly into my next question. It took me very long to ask this.
Yeah,
but
no problem.
Because when I listen to Wind Rose, everything from Shadows, your first album, to now, there's always a great sense of humor behind it and a great like party vibe behind it. But with this, there was a darkness behind it.
Yeah.
So to achieve like your technical excellence, is there like a lot of seriousness that goes into the songwriting in a way, or do you have just as much fun like behind the stage as you do on stage?
Nice question. We always have a lot of fun. Even when we write darker songs, we have a lot of fun because we like to play movies in our heads when we write music. So even if we are writing something really deep, maybe, for example, as in I Am the Mountain, we really get inspired and we think about our idols. For example, for I Am the Mountain, we were inspired by Winter Sun, which is one of our favorite bands. So we try to imagine what Winter Sun would say if they heard that particular part that we were writing in that moment. So we always have fun. I mean, even when we compose songs that are not typically dwarf anthems, we have a lot of fun. Yeah.
With the dwarf anthems that you have, I had the privilege of hearing you guys soundcheck and to hear, I am a dwarf, do you almost feel like within the music you all are sort of like portraying characters in a way?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we remain ourselves. We like to dress up like dwarves because we want the people to get more into the concept, But we like to. We are not playing characters. If you meet us outside the stage, we are basically as we are on stage. The only difference is that we wear the costumes, but that's only for the people.
Yeah.
We like that the people can dive more into what we are playing and talking about in our music. So
and I've always wondered that too, because like your music, it does have a very cinematic element behind it. Like, would you consider Wind Rose's music to be like concept albums? Like, does Francesco maybe think of like the lyrical idea that could help maybe dictate the direction of the music?
Yeah, in a way, yes. We don't do concept albums except for the first one, Shadows, as you mentioned before. But there's something that is common in all the songs. For example, in Warfront, of course, given the name of the album, we wanted to portray the battle aspect of the dwarves. So everything that was in Warfront was something that had something to do with wars, you know. So yeah, for example, we are of course writing new music, and in this new album we are writing, it will be a little bit more like folkish. So we have a common feeling, let's say, of the songs. We don't have a song that will be too different from the other ones. So let's say we have a common feeling, which is not a concept because the lyrics may vary, but we have a common sense that will lace up all the songs.
Is there ever a time where maybe your personal lives or your personal experiences, you wrote this new album during a very uncertain time, and Italy was a very was a frontliner in the very early portions of the pandemic, but is there ever a time where maybe your personal life or your personal experiences influence or become a source of inspiration for your music, or is Wind Rose more or less kind of maybe like an escapism for your daily lives?
No. I mean, it is an escape because most of the songs are, of course, about fantasy stuff, but we have a lot of songs. We brought it like in Winter Saga. I don't think I could say there's something that comes out of our hearts, I mean, of course, but the lyrics are a lot into fantasy. All the Winter Saga stuff is into fantasy, but in the latest album, Warfront, we put a little bit more than just fantasy. For example, in the last two songs, like in I Am the Mountain and Tomorrow Has Come, they are really, there's nothing about the dwarves in those songs, Yeah, maybe we can think about a dwarf that's doing all the things we are describing, but I Am the Mountain is a song about depression, actually.
Wow.
So how you escape from depression, and how you see it's a help to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and with a style like what you have, and I don't like the pigeonhole thing, but a lot of people would categorize you like in the folk metal category, bands like Elevite or Corpaclani or Einzifirm or something like that. Yeah. And it's really good to see you address that type of concept because, and I love the folk metal stuff, but it is always super happy and fun all the time. And for you to address a subject matter that a lot of people go through with this style of music, I think, some people would think depression and folk metal is a terrible, on paper, that sounds like a terrible idea. But I think you executed it perfectly.
Nice. Thank you very much. It's really nice to know because, we like to have fun. We like to party. When we meet to write music, we always have fun. It's really good to hang out together, even for working, But of course, in our personal lives, we have issues like everybody does. So in the darkest song that we write, we are more inspired by psychological things, So the perfect songs to describe these are those two we were talking about. And Francesco wrote the lyrics of both songs, and I think he made a really awesome job. He writes most of the lyrics. I help him from time to time, but he is 90% of the lyrics are Francesco's, and he did a really incredible job in that song. He really put his heart into that song. In fact, he is really bound to that song. Yeah. All the times we in this tour we have done a lot of meet and greets. We have had a lot of VIPs tickets sold, and from time to time there were some meet and greet persons that told Francesco their favorite Wind Rose song was I Am the Mountain, so he was hugging them. I feel you, bro.
It's a common, a lot of people relate to it. I think it's really going to be I feel like I Am the Mountain has that Iron Maiden relatable effect to it that people would have. So and if you don't mind me asking too, because look, any artist who tells you that every moment is great is lying to you, especially in this genre. But your music is very fun and it is uplifting and positive. Do you sometimes feel like you have to sometimes though, if you have a bad day on tour or something like that or whatever, is it maybe kind of difficult to put yourself in that positive mood to replicate it on stage?
Yeah, it is a really nice question, and I would say that by the moment we get on stage, if we had a bad day, it's start to pass, because when like 10 minutes before show starts, we are like we have the adrenaline inside, so we have to we start dancing, we do bullshit, we do stupid things. So even if you had a bad day, I mean, if you had a really bad day, I don't know what happens, but fortunately lately, I mean, we have never had any big issues inside the band. So I mean, from time to time you have a day when you are a bit tired and everything looks like it's impossible to achieve, but then when we are about to go on stage, everything like fades away. After the show we are like, oh nice, it's a good day.
Having fantasy elements and like a lot of stories and mythologies as your subject matter, is there maybe like a lot of research that's involved as part of your songwriting? Are you looking at film or visual art or literature as like a means of artistic inspiration in a way?
Of course, yeah. There's a really nice job there in the background, let's say, because of course we are huge fans of the Lord of the Rings, of the Hobbit. We are huge fans of Skyrim, fantasy RPGs, but we don't know everything. You understand? So there's Francesco is also into Warhammer, so the Warhammer thing is on him. But there are some universes we did not explore yet because we don't know them. So from time to time we also get people that are really good at some video game, for example. If we want to write a song about a video game that we liked, but we are not so much into it, so we have a lot of fans, we can ask them. So yeah, there is a really big research for writing music. For example, when we want to put some dwarven lyrics inside the songs, we have to do a really good research, because you cannot trust the first page on Google. So you need to pick people that know about this stuff. You need to ask them. So yeah, it's a really long ride. And for example, even the fact that we are Italian, so we are not that good at English, So even writing the lyrics, it's always we need some help from some native speaker. So it's a really long ride, really. We have a lot of research to do on Google before we can write a song.
I gotta tell you, every Italian band I interviewed, whether it have been Lacuna Coil or Distrage or Flesh God Apocalypse, like you all are fantastic at English. Don't say
really?
It. Yeah.
Ah,
like,
nice.
I'm very
that's
impressed.
a relief.
Yeah.
Nice, but that's only because we do this job.
Yeah, of course.
Because we in Italy the instruction that doesn't put so much effort in English, unfortunately.
In Germany, where my family's from, it's like required to know English, like to master it before you graduate. Most people I know in Europe speak like 9 languages. So
Yeah.
And when you're writing about these fantasy elements with the research, is it like, are you trying to maybe like inform the listener in a way, maybe like get them just as engaged in the subject matter, or are you more or less like singing about your interpretation, or it's like almost a reaction to the stories?
I think it's more like an interpretation. Yeah, because a lot of people like us for our music. I mean, there are not so many people that came just because of the lyrics, But yeah, of course, it's a really good thing for people that, for example, let's take Diggy Diggy Hole. We did that just because we liked that. I mean, it was not. We didn't want to let people know about Minecraft, But actually, a lot of people were like, "Oh, nice song." They didn't know the original song, so they got to the original. They got to Minecraft. So in a way, we don't do that as information, but in a way, it informs people anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
but it's all the lyrics we write. It's because we like them, not because we explicitly want to spread it. Okay, but of course it. But sometimes happens because, for example, in the new music that we are writing, there will be a track that it's will be about a video game. Yeah, so. We of course that will be something that maybe people don't know it.
I hope
so
it's Zelda. I hope it's Zelda.
Look. I have it tattooed on my.
Oh, hey, I got one here.
Oh, we
too.
have the same tattoo, bro.
Oh, did you play the new one yet?
I am playing it right now. I have it in my backpack. Yeah.
I just beat all 152 shrines.
Oh, nice, bro.
Yep.
And
So-
what about the Breath of the Wild? Did you finish that?
I beat all 120 shrines
Okay,
and I
shit.
beat all the side quests. I 100% completed that game, and now I'm doing the same for Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh
if
my
I look
God.
tired, it's because I've been playing that game all night, every night. So.
I can play it every night because we like do the loadout like at 2, so we hang out with the guys.
You have more important and productive shit to
Yeah.
do with your night. Okay, so
Yeah,
no
yeah.
shame.
But for example, in the European tour we did like 1 month ago with Hailstorm, I played a lot more. I'm not happy that Tears of the Kingdom was not released yet.
Yeah.
So I was playing I don't remember what I was playing. No Man's Sky,
Okay.
but I didn't like it too much. But in this tour in America is a bit different because in Europe we are used that we have everything in the venue, like the food, the showers. So there's not much to do after the show. Here in the US, you need to go get food. You need to find a place to take a shower. So there's less free time in the US. Let's say that.
It's the ultimate test. It's the ultimate test.
Yeah.
It's like a Zelda obstacle course in a way.
Yeah.
Every venue is like a dungeon in a way, and you have a bunch of obstacles to navigate.
Exactly.
It. Yep. Yeah. The truck stop bathrooms are like the shops that you go into in
Exactly,
the
yeah.
Zelda game.
That's it, bro.
We
You
could really
said
go
it.
down this rabbit hole. Before we get more into the new shit, I did want to talk about some of the older material as well. This could be me very much overthinking it, but your first album, Shadows of the. Can you tell me how to pronounce it?
Shadows over Lothar.
Okay, that album was 10 years old last year.
10 years old.
And the album that followed it, Ride of the Western.
Wardens of the West Wind.
Okay.
Yeah, the difficult titles.
Yeah.
Sorry
Well, I
about
was
it.
gonna ask why, because like I feel like with the first 2 albums, you almost had kind of like a setting involved, and now the 3 albums that you had after that are like one word in a way. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm just overthinking the hell out of the
No.
catalog. But was there like a specific reason on those evolution, not just in your sound but in your titles?
Okay. Yeah, of course, in the music-wise, I mean, we were 18 years old when we wrote the first album. So we were really into Symphony X and Dream Theater, all bands from the United States. And so it was basically a progressive power metal album, really far from what we are doing now. So even the titles reflect it, no? If there is the proggish things need to be more difficult, no? So even the titles come after, no? No, anyway, at some point we were like, let's keep it simple. I mean, you didn't even recall the names, but even me, it's difficult for me sometimes. Oh, how was the name of the first album?
Yeah.
No,
I was trying to practice pronouncing that on the way here, and I was like, I'm just gonna fucking ask.
Yeah. No, at some point we decided, but it's not something that we did because of business. At some point we decided to be more like simple. I mean, why doing on purpose difficult things?
Yeah.
I mean, we like writing music. We don't have to put everything we know in the titles, in the music. So at some point we were like, let's keep it simple.
I appreciate that. As
Nice.
somebody who has to pronounce a lot of albums as well. Like,
Yeah.
And especially with the prog bands, and I love prog metal, but oh my god, some of the names that they come up with, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, of course.
And their titles are usually as long as their songs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and oh, you were saying?
Yeah. I was saying that. Yeah, the last 3 albums are the title is 1 word long.
Yeah.
And we will probably keep it even in the future because
Okay.
I mean we like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Simple.
And again, for the journalists, you make our lives a lot easier.
Perfect.
And I have 2 more questions
Yeah,
for you.
sure.
When I listen to the music itself, concept aside, just the music is very technically impressive. Like, it sounds almost studied in a way. Like, I could listen to this at Radio City or Carnegie Hall or like, a Baroque theater just as much as a Live Nation venue like tonight. When I listen to the guitar work in Wind Rose, is it almost like, do you play the music to better suit the concept in a way, or what we hear musically is also reflective of emotions that you were feeling at that time?
Guitar wise, I like to keep it simple. So yeah, it's more the guitars in Wind Rose are more. I will not say a background because of course in volume they are higher, but not hardly most everything comes out of the keyboards. I mean, we write together, but the guitar stays in a corner. I get the guitar later when the things are done on the keyboards.
Okay.
So yeah, the guitars are more. I use the guitar as an instrument to make the orchestra sound more metal. I will say that.
Yeah. I mean,
I like riffing a lot, but in our music, in our way of writing music, they are just something that support the orchestra, but they are louder than not louder, but they are. You can hear the guitars really well in the albums, but they do what the orchestra does because we prefer the way we are good at working is with keyboards.
yeah, and that's a breath of fresh air. I can't tell you how like times. Oh, it always starts off with a riff. It always starts off with a riff. Like
No, it's for us. It's not like that. I mean, I'm not a keyboard player, but to me, it's really easier to write music on keyboards than on guitar, because on keyboards you can do chords and melody with
Yep.
two different hands. You can do that on the guitar as well, but you need to be a really good guitarist. I mean, you can do with the thumb. You can do the
Yeah.
chords. And with the other fingers, but I mean I'm not that good at guitar, so
my cuticles are hurting.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah. So even I'm the guitarist, I prefer to write music on piano, even if I'm not good at it. But I just try, and if I have a melody in my mind, I get the piano and do it. But yeah, of course, we have a great keyboardist, Federico, and he's the main writer of the music. So I mean, in my opinion, keyboard players, piano players are. It's better for them to write music because they can really handle well the chords and the melody together.
As somebody who plays piano myself, that was the nicest thing I've ever heard in my
Nice.
interview career. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Nice.
So before we go, finally, for the final question, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Just with we're getting a awesome follow up to Warfront, your latest album. What can we be expecting on this new album, if you're allowed to say?
Yeah, of
like,
course.
Is it going to be almost a continuation in that? And is there just anything else with Wind Rose that you'd like to promote that you're allowed to talk about?
Of course. And yeah, the of course there will be a new album, and really soon. I mean, pretty soon. And it's, in my opinion, it will be. I will say that it will be something in the middle between Winter Saga and Warfront, because we are keeping the heavy riffing of Warfront, but now that we are composing it, we are on tour. We have fun with people, with the crowd, so we are more into anthems again. So there will be party, there will be dwarven anthems. So yeah, it's in the middle of the two albums. I think it will be a more folkish, a little bit more folkish, maybe more fast-paced, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, we have almost all the songs ready.
And that video game song better be inspired by Zelda. I'll just.
I can tell.
Okay, fair enough. You'll tell me when I turn the camera off.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
thank you so much, Claudio, and
No problem.
Thank you so much for coming to our concert.
Sure. Thank you for coming to our concert.
Anytime. I've been to Italy twice before, and it was always a great time.
Oh, nice.
But I know how difficult touring is lately, so for you to come here, it just means
Yeah,
a
it
lot.
was
to us.
awesome. We had a blast. We had a lot of fun in the US, and we hope, and actually we will return really soon, because when you get the visa to come here,
Yeah.
it's 1 year long, so you don't want to do only one
Yeah,
only
I
one
heard.
tour.
I heard the first U.S. tour is usually the hardest one to
Yeah,
navigate. So.
But I mean, we will come back before the visa expire. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Wind Rose. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
see you next time.